Alright, quick rundown. This is a game where magic is your weapon and chaos is your playground. You cast spells by spinning rune columns. Think slot machine meets spellcraft. Match the right runes, and boom! Enemies disintegrate. Lock in up to 8 runes to strategize your next devastating move. Customize your rune book. Add, remove, tweak runes. Enhance them with amulets and auras. Over 150 trinkets to collect. Want to trigger your runes twice in one spin? Done. Want to hit with numbers so big we have to use scientific notation? Go for it. Want your blue runes to match with your black runes, which match with your light runes, which are now wild, so everything matches together? Sure, if you're lucky enough. The synergies are wild, and the combos? Endless. Pick your battles. Each enemy offers a different challenge and reward. Defeat them, earn coins, and shop till you drop. 5 specialized shops await your patronage. Face elites, conquer bosses, and if you're feeling brave, crank up the difficulty. Every run's a new adventure, a new strategy, a new chance to break the game in the best way possible. Runeborn, where your luck is as potent as your strategy. Coming October 9th, 2025. Wishlist now on Steam.
Hey Runeborners, in this Insiders Update, we're going to talk about why we opted out of the February Steam Next Fest. We'll talk about our potential pivot, also a lot of big visual update changes, and lastly, highlighting a content creator that really helped significantly boost our new players. If you missed our first update video, you can check it out here. If you're new to Runeborn, welcome. We're a dark fantasy roguelike deck builder mixed with a deconstructed slot machine. Our demo is now available on Steam. Speaking of Steam, they host an event 3 times a year called Steam Next Fest. These events highlight games that haven't been released yet, specifically demos. You may have seen it on the Steam store. It's a curated list of demos that really can help increase the visibility of your game. The catch is that you can only do it once. 2 weeks before Steam Next Fest, we attended an in-person event and learned something very interesting. Here's Jacob Duhaime, our CEO, to explain.
Hey Jacob, can you tell us what you experienced when you watched people play Runeborn for the first time?
So yeah, we had a good opportunity during one of the, we had a WeTech pitch that we were bringing Runeborn into, and we had the opportunity to show everybody, like, here's the game, like, come try it out. And I was on the side of showing everybody like the game and trying to convince people to come over and try it out. And I found that I was having to explain the same sort of core concept over and over again. And after about 10 or 12 people, you kind of start to go, oh, we got a huge problem here. If they can't intuitively pick this up, I'm not going to be there when the game launches and they play it for the first time to hold their hand through each of the steps.
The biggest challenge that we experienced was that players didn't understand that you needed a match from left to right. In this example, they would have grabbed the 2 green runes on the right side and then the other 2 red runes, not realizing that they didn't match from left to right and they wouldn't count towards their score.
So there's a huge risk of turning people away, because if you don't get it within the first couple clicks, then it's a good chance you'll just kind of give up on it and leave the game. So that was a big eye-opener. Insanely important to kind of step outside of where you're comfortable. And we worked together for months, designing the core concept, playing it, and you start to forget about what it was like as a new player.
After much discussion, we came up with a potential solution, but it meant pausing all demo development to work on this pivot. A pivot that calculated the rune differently to make them more intuitive. Here's Dion, our lead game developer, to explain what worked, what didn't work, and ultimately why we dropped it.
Hey Dion, you were responsible for creating the Runeborn pivot prototype. Can you briefly explain the concept and what you were trying to accomplish?
So we were trying to simplify the slot machine experience. We started by removing lines 4 and 5, which we also call the Vs. And the reason for that was due to the initial impression that players weren't fully understanding the current spell line system right away. We also changed the calculation so that it was based on groups of matches rather than starting from the leftmost column. And by this I mean every single rune would score, even if there was a single rune by itself. So even if you had a group of runes with the same element, those would be a larger match, but individual runes would also contribute.
Considering that you had firsthand experience developing the prototype, and you probably played it more than anyone else, can you tell us what you liked and disliked about it?
Yeah, so some things that stood out immediately were that since every single rune scored, it was a pretty good feeling for the most part. And for game design, match groups actually provided us with another avenue for designing trinkets and expanding on the existing mechanics. And because we have wild runes, which can match with any element, we could also have overlapping match groups of runes that allows us to increase endgame complexity. But after playtesting these changes, we ultimately decided against going through with it. Besides requiring a full rebalance and restructure of the entire game, the score calculation was actually more complex. It was tougher to explain and display the scoring effects to the players. Without the V spell lines, the game sort of lost its initial charm for me personally, and holding runes almost became obsolete, and the meta gravitated towards getting wildcard trinket for almost every session. It no longer felt like a slot machine, more like a match 3, which was sort of against the original idea for the game.
While Dion was working on the prototype, we had the rest of the team working on a potential solution for our current game, hedging our bets. Here's Lucas, our technical artist, to explain the visual improvements.
Hey Lucas, can you tell us about the visual changes and why we made them?
Yeah, so for this new update, we have a couple of new visuals. First thing is elite and boss intro animations. So we really wanted to separate elite and boss fights from a normal fight. We drew inspiration from games like Borderlands and RoboQuest, who have these animations that kind of build hype when they are about to bring you into a boss fight. It's also a nice little way that we can bring some story elements into the boss and elites, and we have a nice little flavor text underneath there. The second thing, probably the biggest visual change, is the new hold and idle animations for our runes. We noticed they kind of been lacking some love and wanted to add some more polish to it. So since it's part of the game that players see the most often, right? Another thing we added with those new animation states is a new match previewing system when you hold the runes. So now, as you hold runes, they'll connect together if they're making a match. The main reason we wanted to do this, other than it just looking really nice, was because some players were having trouble learning that matches have to start from the leftmost column. So we hope that this new visual change with a little subtle animation is a little helping hand to nudge towards that understanding.
Lastly, we want to send a huge thanks to our gaming influencers. Getting a game noticed is extremely challenging, and we wouldn't have made it this far without your support. Over 4,000 demos were included in the February Steam Next Fest. And although we pulled out, we had already worked on significant efforts with social media and influencers that were already well underway. We are very thankful for Alexa's video for showcasing Runeborn. With over 56,000 views on YouTube, it surged our players during Steam Next Fest, where we hit the top 100 list on Steam DV for concurrent players, which is absolutely amazing. We saw our wish list surge from 800 to over 2,000 in one day. Considering our team was pretty bummed out that we backed out of Steam Next Fest, this surge of new players and feedback that came along with it really reignited the team and turned that frown upside down. So those are the big highlights for demo update 0.4.0. This will be our last major update before early access release. We're spending the next 3 months preparing for that release with dozens of new trinkets, enemies, and much, much more. Stay tuned for an exact release date, but most likely it'll be shortly after the June Steam Next Fest. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the leaderboards. Oh, and come hang out on Discord, come chat, say hey, what's up? Hey, if you want to see the rest of this video, head on over to YouTube to see the whole thing. If you want to see the full update, go to YouTube for more. Hey Runeborners, in this Insiders update, we're going to talk about why we opted out of the February Steam Next Fest. We'll talk about our potential pivot, also a lot of big visual update changes, and lastly, highlighting a content creator that really helped significantly boost our new players. If you missed our first update video, you can check it out here. If you're new to Runeborn, welcome. We're a dark fantasy roguelike deck builder mixed with a deconstructed slot machine. Our demo is now available on Steam. If you want to see the full update, go to YouTube for more.